Namaste. Good morning. Nice to have you here in class. Glad that you are up and ready and at 'em. Today's practice, I want us to think for a moment about our general consciousness for just a second. And when I came down this morning, there's a bookshelf right there where you are in my screen. And a book leapt out at me. And the book is called Where God Lives: The Science of Paranormal and How Our Brains Are Linked to the Universe. And so this is kind of what I've been talking about when I talk about this ether element, the space element of the first of the 5 elements, the most subtle, and us being able to connect in that space where we are. So I marked a passage. So even before we get started, maybe just close your eyes and let this come into your space, into your mind. It's a thought about oneness. Oneness. All are one, in one are all. Essentially, that means we share a piece of the universal energy pattern, or consciousness. Theoretical physicist Erwin Schrödinger, who won the Nobel Prize in 1933, felt it was scientifically correct to conclude that our individual brains contribute to the universal mind. That was what he meant when he coined the term one mind to explain the implications of theoretical physics for consciousness research. Pearsall states that a key step in making miracles is to understand the link connecting us all. In Samkhya philosophy, that link is Mahat, where consciousness and matter come together and create a third dimension. So just thinking about us all being linked together for a moment, bringing our hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Relaxing into your breath, finding your soft, natural breath. Finding an intention for your practice this morning. And today I'd like to offer our practice, our collective practice, to all the people on the front line, the doctors and the nurses and the administrators, the people driving ambulances and working in grocery stores and their families, remembering all those that are making it possible right now for us to be right here doing what we're doing. Being grateful for yoga, the practices that we've learned together, that we practice. Being aware of taking our yoga off of our mats and into the world with every moment. And gratefulness, just gratefulness. Please join me in one Om if you're in a space where you can do that. Exhaling the breath out and a nice inhale, full inhale to chant. Taking a few deep breaths into your belly. Let the belly expand with your inhale and draw it back with your exhale. Consciously belly breathing. Good, and then on your next inhale, letting your eyes flutter open. Interlace your fingers. Begin to press away for a moment, just press. And then separate the fingers, separate the hands, take them out to shoulder height. Press the wall away for a moment. And then just landing your left hand down on the floor. as if you were an airplane for a moment, just pressing into the hand on the floor, pressing away with the other hand. And then flip the palm from the shoulder of your right arm, and then bring it up and tuck it in close to your ear. So the movement here is going to come from our left elbow, keeping our right sit bone firmly on the ground, just beginning gently to bend the elbow. Go a little bit, pause. Go a little bit more, pause. And a little bit more. Just noticing the breath, keeping your head as an extension of your spine. And then on your next exhale, press the floor away and come up. Good, and let's land the airplane on the other side. Press into the hand on the floor, reach away with your left hand. And then flip the palm of the left hand and tuck the upper arm in close to your ear. Press the floor away, left sit bone firmly on the ground. Don't let it lift as you bend the elbow. Rest. Bend the elbow. Rest. One more entrance, just see how it goes. Don't lose your head. And then on your next exhale, press up. Good. And then both hands up overhead for a moment. Bring the hands into your heart. Good. And press the arms away, up and out. Together, in, up and out. Together, in, up and out. Together, up. And stay up for a second. Really wiggle out. Take the weight out of your lower body. Good. And then release your arms to either side. We're going to come into our table pose. So if you want to put your blanket underneath your knees, if you'd like to put anything at all to protect you, I have this little garden thing that I often use under my knees. So wherever you are, find yourself with your hips over your knees and your shoulders over your wrist. And slump. Just kind of slump and see, that is not what we want. Just sort of see that. Then begin to press the floor away. Pull your belly into your spine, keeping your lumbar curve. And then gazing down at the floor for a moment. So as we begin to move our spine between these 2 points of stability, our shoulders stay stable, our hips stay stable. And then we're taking the spine into flexion and extension. So as we curl the toes under, get round, look back at your belly button, round. Lay the feet out and arch in the other direction, looking up between your eyebrows. And then curl the toes under, other direction. Follow your breath. One more. And after you inhale and look up, exhale, come into neutral. Good. And then your hands are firmly placed, okay? So again, press the floor away. So you're really sure your shoulder girdle is stable. Reach your right leg back, your left leg back. Press through the leg, draw the belly in, push up, drop to one knee, then the other knee. And then slowly think about how you might get to the floor, okay? Just think about it for a second. If you're going to collapse in your shoulders, reconsider. No collapsing in the shoulders. So for those of you who it's not easy to go down or come up in one piece, you might consider going to the floor like this. So I reached back, I'm in my plank, belly is in, tucked in, knees go down. And the way that I'm going to not have my shoulders collapse is by going to my forearms, pressing into the floor, and then from here, I can lower. Okay? Because we're going to do a sun salute. And the hardest place to get down is right there in the middle. So I will remind you of that option, and the rest of you can take it however you'd like. Okay, so coming up onto the ball of the foot in a squat, we're going to transition up, but we're going to do it with a balance pose. Coming up nice and tall, spine erect, lift up, balancing on the balls of the feet. And then let's challenge ourselves to see if we can stay on the balls of the feet as we inhale and come up, okay? Exhale the breath, root down through the ball of the foot, and inhale. Come all the way up. Good. Reaching up and exhale. Great. Okay, so now we're going to do a sun salute. And I know you won't be able to see my arms go all the way up, but just know that they're going to extend up. Another important thing, we're going to do it really, really slowly. So this is not your normal sun salute. We're going to act as if we were moving through water, moving really slowly. So when I say inhale, I mean focus on the inhale. Take as many little catch breaths as you need to. When I say exhale, focus on the exhale, taking as many catch breaths as you need to. So no hurry. We're going to take the time to feel each of these parts of the pose, because this can really be a practice. Surya Namaskar can be a practice to sustain you in the morning, especially when you're feeling sluggish or really just don't want to get out of bed, okay? Mentally as well as physically. So we want to be able to come back to something that's a pattern that our brain just knows, okay? So we're going to do it together. The one thing I want to show you is when I do my upward salute, I'll go back a little so you can see. When I do my upward salute, and my arms can go out to the side or up, any little back bend that happens here is not from me thrusting my hips forward. It is from me leaning my sternum toward the ceiling. So never thrust your hips, okay? So let's try. Coming in to Namaskar, into Tadasana, hands at the heart, taking an inhale. As you exhale, let your arms float down and then reach your palms out toward me. Open the arms and hands. Inhale all the way up. You can gaze up and show your sternum a little to the ceiling. And then as you exhale, slowly begin to travel down. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Placing the hands close to the feet. Release your head and look back through your thighs or through your shins. On your next inhale, begin to look forward. Drop your bottom a little bit and exhale, taking your left leg back into a lunge. Just reach the leg back, drop to the knee, and be right here for 3 breaths. Gazing about a foot in front of your mat. Good. And then come off the back knee for a moment. Place the hands firmly down and step your right knee back to meet the left. Press through both heels, press the floor away with the shoulders, and drop to your knees. So 6 or 8 parts bowing, or this is where we go to our forearms to not collapse. So if we're doing 8 parts bowing, chin and chest will touch. 6 parts bowing, chin and chest will hover. Find how you're making your way toward the floor. And on your next inhale, extend yourself out into Cobra, little cobras, where you can lift your hands. Breathing. Tops of the feet in the floor, knees will lift, thighs are engaged, belly's engaged. And then curl the toes under, come back to your pass on your knees for a moment, and then shift the hips back into mountain, often called downward facing dog. Find your spot for just a moment. And then inhale and look at the space between your hands. You're going to step your left foot over by your left hand. Don't swing it around. Bring it forward And then if you'd like, pick it up and place it where it goes. Drop to the back knee. Breathing 3 breaths. And then coming off the back knee, on our next inhale, we're going to take a little hop toward the front. Place the feet together. Exhale, release. And inhale, arms to the sides, coming up, all the way up. You can gaze up and show your sternum a little bit. And exhale, hands into the heart. That is 1/2, okay? We're going to do the other half, more or less at that pace. And then we're going to do one that gives us a little bit more openness and space in our heart and our chest. This first one, we're really working on opening our legs and our hips. So focusing on that. Hands to the heart, inhale. Exhale, root down, release your arms, palms facing me. Inhale, arms reaching up. Maybe show your sternum toward the ceiling. Exhale, begin a dive forward. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Hands and feet on the floor. Look back between your shins. Inhale, look forward. And exhale, right leg back into a lunge. Good. Press through the back heel a lot. Drop to the back knee. 3 breaths. Notice the groin of the back right leg. On your next inhale, lift off the back knee and then step to plank. Long line of energy. Press through your heels, press through the arms. Drop to your knees and then decide how you're making it to the floor, okay? 6 or 8 parts bowing, forearms, however you're making it. And then extend yourself out and inhale into a beautiful cobra with no hands. Feet are firmly placed. And then curl the toes under and press into mountain. One more full breath. And inhale, look at the space between your hands, stepping your right foot over by your right hand. Drop to your back knee, 3 breaths. And then inhale, come off the back knee, a little hop to the front, long spine. Exhale, fold. And inhale, arms to the sides, coming up, all the way up. And exhaling the hands into Anjali. Relax your arms, relax your hands, soften your body, soften your brain. Breathe. So remembering that when we're doing this Surya Namaskar, this salute to the sun, we're allowing our body to move in all directions, forward bending, back bending, but we're not twisting. So this time we're going to add a little bit of a twist in each side as we lunge. So just keeping that in mind. And on your next inhale, letting your eyes flutter open. A word of caution too, this does have inversions in it because both Hastapadasana, hand to foot pose, are forward fold, and mountain pose are half inversions. So if you have eye pressure problems or glaucoma or uncontrolled blood pressure, then you want to just look forward and not release your head all the way down, okay? Good. And if you're on the first 3 days of your menstrual cycle, you also want to be very careful and do this in super slow-mo. Let's do one more set. Hands into the heart. Take a nice inhale. As you exhale, root down, ground down, release the arms, palms facing me. So you get that external rotation. Inhale, arms coming up, gazing up. Maybe a little thoracic back bend. And on your next exhale, headed toward the floor, slowly, softly, gently. Remember to look forward if you have any eye pressure, otherwise release the head. Inhale, gazing forward, and exhaling, left leg back into a lunge. Drop to the knee, bring your hands to your front knee. Good. We're going to pause here for a moment and do our twist. So bringing the hands to the heart, you can be leaning forward or you can push back, wherever you have the most stability here as we get ready to twist out toward the leg. Good. You may hook the elbow somewhere over the leg or the knee. And if not, no big deal. Breathing. And on your next exhale, come back to the center. Inhale. Exhale, arms floating up. Take an inhale right there. And exhale, lower. Good. We're going to step back to plank. So come off the back knee, front leg to meet it. Long line of energy. Press through, lift your belly, heels are active, and then drop to your knees. Take a nice inhale. You might hold it for a moment, head down. And as you're ready, slowly inhaling into a cobra. Feet are on the floor. Belly is lifted. Knees are lifted. When I say belly is lifted, I just mean engaged enough to protect your low back. Curl the toes under and exhale. You can press through table and on your way into mountain. Breathing. If you have any blood pressure issues, come into plank and stay in plank rather than mountain. And then you're going to inhale, look at the space between your hands, stepping your left foot over by your left hand. Don't swing it out, that compromises your low back. Just lift it and bring it forward. Good. Down to your back knee, hands to your front knee. You can lean forward for the twist or be up for the twist, whichever you'd like. Hands into the heart. Take a nice inhale. Hold and twist and exhale. Keep your height. Don't let your left knee go out to the side. Keep it right over your ankle. And on your next exhale, come back into the center. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Arms floating down. Come off the back knee. A nice inhale, a little hop to the front. Long spine. Exhale, fold or continue looking forward. And inhale, arms to the sides, coming up, all the way up. And exhale, hands into Anjali. Second side. Inhale, arms floating up, looking up. Exhale, diving forward. Inhale, looking forward and stepping your right leg back into a lunge. Drop to the knee. Come to the front leg. Good. Breathe in. So this time, everybody push up. Make a right angle with your front leg. Everybody's up. Good. Hands into the heart. Root down through that back leg. Keep your pelvis stable and just twisting out to the side. And then let your arms be an extension of your chest. So wherever your twist is, perfect. And then on your next inhale, bring the arms overhead, back to center, and exhale, arms floating down. Good. And then come off and reach back. Great. Long line of energy. Knees to touch. You can go to your forearms, just do not collapse in your mid-back. Slowly lowering. And then finding Cobra or even Sphinx. with your forearms firmly on the floor. Breathing. If you went into Sphinx, let it go. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Curl the toes under. Press into mountain. Good, breathing, breathing. And then on your next inhale, look at the space between your hands, stepping your right foot over by your right hand. Drop to the back knee. And then everybody come up. Good. Right angle with the front leg. Exhale, root down. Inhale, hold that inhale. Twist. Twist as much as is comfortable. And then let your arms open. So wherever the arms are, your belly button is headed straight toward me and your sternum is headed out to the right side. On your next inhale, arms overhead, gaze front forward, and exhale, hands into the heart. Good. Let's lower our hands slowly. We're going to come off the back knee and inhale a little hop to the front, long spine. Exhale, fold. And inhale, arms to the sides, coming up, all the way up, gazing up. And exhale, hands into Anjali. Release your arms. Release muscle to bone. Resting your pelvic floor, your belly, your shoulders, your jaw. Just breathing naturally. Slowing the breath down. Slowing the self down. And on your next inhale, letting your eyes flutter open. Begin to re-engage. So pelvic floor lifts, belly tucks in, shoulders engage. Just engaging the muscles, lift the toes for a moment. Press into all four corners of the feet. And then gently relax your toes down. Good. Shift the weight over to the left side. Just shift it and begin to peel up your right heel. Left heel, yeah, right heel. All right. Weight is to the left, peeling up the right heel. And then slowly just bringing the right leg forward. Try to get the thigh parallel to the floor. Nothing else, nothing more complicated. Breathe. Then release that leg. Walk for a minute, pace for just a moment. And then find stability and shift the weight over to the right side. Begin to peel up the left heel. Stabilize, belly in, pelvic floor lifted, breathing into your chest area, not your belly. And then slowly begin to lift. Find the left thigh parallel to the floor. I can see someone is sending a chat. I don't see those until the end of class. So sorry. And then release that leg and pace just a little bit. Good. And then slowly we're going to find our squat. Those of you know this is my favorite pose to allow us to just sink down and sink in. So my knees and my feet are in the same direction. My arms are inside my knees and I can resist knees against arms, arms against knees. Breathing. Good, just sinking down. And if you'd like, you can get a block and put it underneath your bottom because we're going to take a twist here. That'll give you a little bit more stability. You can also just sit on the floor and think about the twist. On your next inhale, we're going to open the arms and twist to the left. Nice open twist. And exhale, return to the heart. Next inhale, opening and twisting to the right. Exhale, return to neutral. One more time. Open. Those of you who like to bind can go ahead and take your hands down and reach around your right knee. Ardha Malasana, half rosary pose. On your next exhale, release, hands into the heart. And then opening broad to the right, nice and broad. You can just stay right here, or those of you who want can hitchhike fingers, dive them down and back, and maybe hold on to something, gazing out to the right. And then on your next inhale, hands back. Good. And exhale, just releasing yourself to the floor. Good. Extend your feet out for a moment. Good. Get nice and tall. Make a right angle with your body. A right angle. Legs are active. Heels are engaged. Heels are totally on the floor. Don't let your heels come up. That means you're hyperextending in your knees. And you may want to bend your knees a little. Good, and now just relax your legs out to the side. Reach in and grab your right quadriceps, all four of them. That means really pulling on the middle one. There's one hiding underneath it. And then on the other side, just a little massage, soft, gentle. Little tiny tugs, but like you would tug on a baby, not a tug like on a dog that you don't like. Okay. So kind to yourself, just walking up the legs. Good. And then we're going to play for a moment with Paschimottanasana, which is our forward fold. But we're going to play with it like this with our legs deeply bent. So place your hands somewhere that you can lift your bottom up a little and place it down. So you're right on top of your sit bones. And your knees are bent. So as if you were going to maybe do boat pose, but we're not. Good. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my hands and physically push my belly out of the way and take my ribs toward my thighs. Okay? So just think about that. Nice and tall. So Paschimottanasana means a westward stretch pose. So our west side is the whole back side, our dorsal side. So we often have to pick between the hamstrings or the spine. And now I'm letting the spine win and taking the hamstrings totally out of the equation with these deeply bent knees. But I'm going to begin to allow my back to round, taking my chin in, tucking it to my chest. Just stay where you are. You don't really need to watch. After a few breaths, think about creeping your heels and your feet a little bit further. You can even put your hands around your heels and push them a little bit further. Just see where you are, thinking about keeping the ribs close to the thighs. Just thinking about it. You don't have to do it. Just creating this vision in your mind's eye. Your subtle body can do the pose. Your physical body might not. Breathing. Breathe into the back body. Feel the compression on the front of the body. Breathe into the westward side. And then on your next exhale, see if you can go a little bit further. Press those heels out a little bit further. Keep surrendering, chin to chest. And then one more surrendering if you have it in you. I'm stopping where I am. Breathing. And then don't pull into your back. Begin to look forward by peeling the chin off the chest. Take your hands back behind you, just the hands, close to your hips, and then press into your shoulders and your arms to begin to push yourself up, not using only your back muscles. Good, and then extend the legs out. And now we're gonna let the hamstrings win the toss for the pelvic basket. Good, so the hamstrings are nice and soft. If you have a block or a pillow, you're welcome to use it. But I don't go very far at all when my hamstrings win. But I'm gonna take my arms up and lift up out of my pelvic basket. I'm gonna bring my hands into the heart because I don't want all that added weight of my arms. And then I'm gonna surrender. And now I won't be so far because I have really tight hamstrings. So wherever you get to is perfect. Still allow your spine to curl. Chin into the chest. Breathing. Breathe into the back body. Chest area only. Belly is stable. Belly is in. And now maybe a little bit deeper. Just see where you go. And then on your next inhale, looking out past your toes, put your hands close to your hips somewhere, and then press into your fingers and hands and come up. Good. Nice, tall spine. Great. So we're going to go down to the floor, and we're going to do a twist there. So I'm just going to remind us really briefly. Take your block with you because we'll go from there into an inversion. And remember, some of you are not going to take your bottom off the floor. You're going to just lift your legs. If you have any eye pressure problems. Okay, so I just want to show you this one part. So before you lie down, if you haven't already done Jatara Parivarthanasana, recline twist with me, watch once. I'm going to have you lift your hips, shift them over to the side, drop your hips, bring your knees in a little bit until you create a right angle with your legs, and then drop your legs to the side. Good. And the gaze will be up because we're toward the end of practice and we're not going to take our gaze very far. Okay? So lying down, bend your knees, put your feet firmly on the floor. Try just to listen and not look at the screen so you don't compromise your carotid artery, please. So inhale, lift your hips up, shift them over to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches, set them down. Draw your knees in a little bit and your shins away. Form a right angle with your legs, and then slowly drop your legs and your hips over to the left. Reach back with your right arm, touch your sacrum. Make sure your twist is happening way above in the ribs. Good. So no low back twisting. Gaze at the ceiling. You can even gaze over to the left side. But the right side, it's a little too much action for this stage of the practice. Notice your breath, where it's compromised, where you're squeezing. Belly is engaged, chest breathing. And then on your next exhale, letting your right big toe find the floor somewhere below your pubic bone, and then begin to swish in and open up, lift your hips up, straighten yourself out, wiggle your hips, and then relax them down to the floor. And now the other side. Lift your hips up, shift them over to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches, set them down. Draw your knees in toward the chest, create right angles with your legs, and then drop your knees and legs over to the right side. Gazing at the ceiling, or even over to the right side, knee side. But keep your neck long. If you scrunch your neck down, if your chin is close to your shoulder, pull it away, lengthen, keep the neck long. Breathe. Notice where the breath is in the body. Find it in the chest. Your upper chest, open. Your lower chest, not so much. Good, and then letting your left big toe find the floor somewhere below your pubic bone, and then begin to shift and come back to neutral. Good. And then, if you have your block handy, you can place it underneath your sacrum and lift your legs for Viparita Karani Mudra. Try not to look to the side, looking up only. You're also welcome to do your headstand, shoulder stand, any inversion you like. If you're on your menstrual cycle, you want to just rest. Just imagining with your inversion that all of the lymph is coming back down for your personal cleansing process. In the inversions, the bandhas are applied naturally in most of them. If you're in handstand, not. But in bridge, Viparita, shoulder stand, breathing. And then very gently begin to drop your knees in towards your chest. Just be there for a moment, not hugging them. It pulls on the ligaments on the back. Just letting your knees be still for a moment. And then taking one foot to the floor, then the other foot to the floor. Lift your bottom, shake it out for a moment, and then replace the bottom and stretch into your Shavasana. Wherever you are is perfect. Just letting go. Your breath is soft and shallow, just enough to sustain you. Finding any knots or tight places in the body, sending a breath there, letting it move the energy. Relax shoulders, belly, pelvic floor, jaw. without changing it, finding the breath. Soft and shallow, just enough to sustain you. The next time that you inhale, inhale into your belly. Let the belly expand up toward the ceiling. And let gravity take the belly down. 2 more belly breaths. And this time, keeping your belly in, breathing into the chest, whole circumference of the ribs. Feel the ribs press against the floor behind you and lift toward the ceiling and out to the side. Exhale, keep the belly stable, no belly. Inhale, chest. Exhale. 1 more chest breath. Exhale. And then blending those 2 breaths together. Just blending the breath. Exhaling, let gravity take you all the way down to the floor. Breath is moving out. And as you inhale, bring it into the belly. And then draw that same inhale up into the chest. Belly recedes all on its own. Spread the ribs. And 1 slow, small, soft exhale. 2 more yogic breaths on your own. Inhale, belly. Keep drawing that inhale up into the chest. Watch the belly recede all on its own. And 1 slow exhale. One more without my voice. Keep it slow. And then on your next inhale, bend your knees. If they're not bent, lift your bottom and shift it over away from me. Drop your knees toward me and curl up into this beautiful embryonic C curve. Just curling up. And then slowly, using your upper hand close to your face, begin to press the floor away. Come up slowly. Finding a comfortable seat and letting everything integrate. Exhaling the breath all the way out. And inhaling to flutter your eyes open. Good. We're going to continue that yogic breath seated for a moment. And it's quite different when we're seated, but we're going to try. Okay? So tall spine, get yourself a comfortable seat. Let your arms just relax. Hands can be on your legs. So exhaling the breath out at the bottom of the exhale, draw the belly back toward the spine just a little bit. And then release the belly. Let the breath start in the belly and then spread it into the ribs, side to side, front to back, keeping it low in the ribs. Pause and a slow exhale. Slow, gentle, smooth, even exhale. Belly to spine at the very end. Tuck in the belly. Then release the belly. Breath comes in, belly, and then expanding into the chest, expanding into the chest, expanding into the chest. Pause at the top of your inhale. Exhaling slowly, smoothly, gently, evenly. Just letting the breath go out. At the very bottom of the exhale, little belly tug in. Release the belly and breathe. Belly and then chest, spreading the breath, drawing it in to the whole circumference of your rib cage. Letting the diaphragm contract and spread. Exhaling slowly, gently, and deeply. Good. Taking 4 more yogic breaths on your own. Exhaling the breath to start, belly to spine. And then you know what to do. Don't forget the back ribs. Try to spread the breath when it comes into the chest. Spread it to the back. Zigzag the breath into all areas of your chest cavity. Get it in there. And then a slow exhale. One more. And then falling back into your natural breathing pattern. Just finding your natural breath. Slowing it down. Soft and shallow. Our meditative breath. Uncontrolled. Let go of the controls and let the universe breathe you. Moving into our meditation on the 5 elements. We are a microcosm of the macrocosm. All 5 elements making us up, the universe up. Akash, ether. If you'd like to do the mudra, the tip of the thumb to the tip of the middle finger, resting your hands, the back of the hands on the legs. Ether, space, where we are joined. The ethereal part. Space in the organs, space in the orifices of the body, space in the veins, space in our room, in our world, in our house, space. Air element, tucking in the index finger to the base of the thumb and just wrapping the thumb around the knuckle. Air element, the principle of movement. Things moving in the body, our digestive system, the blood in the veins, our eyes twitching, the hand and the feet moving, mobility, air element, air in the trees and the waters, movement inside and out. Fire element, touching the thumb to the first knuckle of the ring finger and just letting the back of the palms, hands rest. Fire, our metabolic energy, the mitochondria of each cell, our digestive fire, fire in the body, fire outside of the body, the sun, the core of Mother Earth, fires that destroy and bring new life, fire inside and out. Water, bringing the tip of the thumb to the tip of the pinky finger, resting the hands on the legs. Liquidity in the body, tears, saliva, blood, sweat. All of the liquid inside of our body, rivers and streams and waters, ponds, lakes, wells, deep wells, water principle in the body and out. Earth, the tip of the thumb to the tip of the ring finger. Earth element, solidity in the body, the building blocks, the bones, the tendons, our teeth, the cartilage. Outside, trees and structure and rock and mineral and steel, the building blocks inside and out. Bringing the hands into Anjali Mudra. Remembering that we were dedicating our practice today to all the first responders, to all the people on the front line, and everyone who made it possible for you to be here. Find that gratefulness for them. And then taking your intention and our offering and letting them slip from our mind down into our heart, and from our heart out into the palms of our hands, and then let that offering go out into the universe, just letting it, bringing the hands back into the heart. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste. Okay, I'm coming to you, coming to the screen. I'm sorry for those of you who are writing chats. I never see it until this time of the practice. Let me just get everything else ready so that you can unmute and talk. Now you will be able to unmute as you'd like. And okay, let's see. The chat, let me see what it says. Okay, it's an asana question, quite an involved one. So I'll wait for that for just a minute. It's about stepping through in a lunge and working with the hips. And I know who a lot of my students are here, and I know that I have some hip surgeries and stuff. So I guess I'm taking it a little bit more, being a little bit conservative about what I'm asking folks to do. So I can give an option tomorrow for people that want to take it a little stronger. But I probably won't do sun salutes for a few more days because I figure there are lots of sun salutes everywhere that people can find to help you. And I like to do it slow-mo, which is giving people the time to really kind of enjoy each one of the poses a little bit more. Maybe enjoy is not the right word, but at least, let me get my gallery view going. Okay. But at least to experience how sun salute does all of the forward bend, back bend, extension, a lot of balancing, even though you're on both legs. Plank is also even a balancing pose. So a lot of the basic principles of all the poses are sort of woven together into a sun salute, as long as you add that little twist at some point. So, and that was the reason I did it in slow-mo today. And yes, we will do it again, but probably not. I have a whole workshop, Tina, on lunging and creating strength there, but that could be a whole 40 minutes of the asana practice right there. So any questions about anything about the yogic breath, about making sure you're not taking it up into your sympathetic response? Everybody good with that?
How do you make sure that you don't take it up?
Well, I think it's really just kind of, let me get this to go down a little bit. I think it's really about keeping the focus, right in here, like where you really have ribs. And so when I said zigzag, how I kind of feel that I do it, if you could see me from the side when I'm taking my yogic breath, once my belly goes out and my belly goes out and then my belly starts to come in as I start to spread it. I spread it into my hands here, right here. And then I take it back, front, back, front in my mind, that I'm really just kind of pressing in. We don't really fill our lungs from bottom to top or top to bottom or any way. We fill our lungs from inside out. The way that the bronchi and the bronchioles and everything are done, we have this vision in our head that we control how the breath goes into the lobes of the lungs, but we really don't. It just, like when you do a balloon, it's gonna go as big as the balloon is, and that's all it's going unless it pops, right? Well, yours won't pop, your lungs won't pop because you have ribs protecting them. So you can go only as far as your rib cage allows you to go. But when you find yourself getting a little stressed in a pranayama practice, you've usually pushed it into sympathetic. When you find that the practice is making you breathe more quickly or breathe more shallowly, or you just feel yourself getting a little uncomfortable and nervous, like, why, this is supposed to make me feel good, why is this not making me feel good? Usually you've gone into a sympathetic response. So that's when you should just stop whatever you're doing and do belly breathing only until you can fall back into that parasympathetic response, right? because when our diaphragm is relaxed, it's relaxed. And this is how you're all breathing now, because you're paying such attention to me, you're not paying any attention to your breath. And so your diaphragm is just going about a centimeter, with your phrenic nerve and your vagus nerve working in conjunction to tell your diaphragm, contract, release, contract, release, contract, release. So your breath is super low, right? So that's all that's kind of happening right there. More, it's like this, like a little tiny umbrella, about a centimeter. And what's going to happen if when we get real panicked, then we start the breath go way up at the top, way up here, like a dog panting, right? And that's what we want to avoid. But sometimes when people say they don't want to do pranayama because it makes them nervous, I said, then you need to do pranayama, but you need to do belly breathing for months, not just for days, for weeks, for months, until we really get ourselves out of that sympathetic response. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anything else about the breath? I want you to be empowered with your breath, because that's something you have with you 100% of the time. You can always pull out your breath and just do your breathing practice when you're just like standing somewhere waiting for something, or when you get nervous about something, or you think about something. Just stop and pull out the belly breathing.
I'm so grateful for your teaching of the breath this morning, Ginger. Namaste from California.
Thank you, Usha. Nice to see you.
I remember Baba Haridas saying to us one day, not saying, but gesturing the importance of yogic breathing. And then somebody provided instructions. But this morning, I really felt a deeper inspiration. I've never heard the sympathetic, parasympathetic response described that way before. So I understand the mind breath link in a new way now. So I thank you for that.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. It doesn't mean that there aren't some pranayams where people will fill up way up big and everything and hold for, a minute or two, seriously. But that's way on down the line. That's for people who are doing big practices, hours a day, every day. And they're so past a sympathetic response, it's not even funny. So for most of us normal mortals that are just doing book 2, which is the regular practice, not necessarily the samadhi pod, we're doing the sadhana pod, right? For us normal people, we need that tool of a belly breath and a yogic breath, and not to take it too far into the upper ranges so that we don't take it into that sympathetic response. Yeah, because a lot of times we'll just take a big old breath and try to fill it up in here, and that's not going to work. It'll make you nervous.
Thank you for that distinction.
Yes, thanks, Usha. Thanks for coming. Anybody else? I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces right now. Let's see. Yeah, any recommendations on avoiding clenching the jaw during deep breathing practice? We used to, and when I was in high school, now this is back in the 60s, right? When we were in high school, we used to always make fun of the dudes that were like, they just said, they're like hanging out with their mouth open, And now I know that those were the enlightened beings. They had no jaw control. They had let go of their ego. And truly, when I look back at those guys who we thought were nerds back then, at my 50th reunion, high school reunion 2 years ago, those dudes were so successful in life. Why? Because they already knew to relax their jaw. We go around like this, all tight. I have a picture of me on my first DMV visit to California in my driver's license, and this jaw, I just was so upset with the DMV situation. The picture has me with this huge square jaw. I don't have a square jaw, but I do in that photo, and I can prove it.
So not clenching your jaw, it's just a matter of habit. So every time you clench, let go. You know, a lot of people, this is their norm for their neck. How do you get rid of that? Every time you realize it came up, you just slowly let it down, press it down a little further, say, love you, you're great, but we don't need to do that, we're fine. And then release, right? Same thing for your jaw. So when you realize that you've tensed your jaw, let it go. Open it wide like you're yawning. As wide as you can get it. And then relax it really slowly and let your teeth stay separate for a little while. And just keep that. Let your lips touch with your teeth separate. And then you will eventually just begin to let your lips touch with your teeth separate. And I have found that that is probably one of the biggest things that helps me not get nervous, is to relax my jaw constantly. Like my jaw stays relaxed now. I mean, it would really, you would have to put me at the DMV or put me in a line right now at a big old grocery store with people close to me, and my jaw would be clenched, I'm sure, 100% sure. But that it's normally not. Normally I can go, oh, good, that's exactly where I want you. Yeah, I like that. But I have learned to keep my lips together so people don't think I'm or you don't want to turn into a mouth breather, because like one of the worst things you can do for your physiology is mouth breathe, right? You want to breathe through that warming, filtered nose of yours. Anything else? Anybody else? Any questions? Comments? Hopefully everyone is going to eat well. Tomorrow's Sunday, and tomorrow I'm going to do a little bit longer pranayama and a little bit longer meditation. Okay. For those of you who know, we have these kriyas, these set of kriyas in our Ashtanga Yoga primer called the Swasayam kriyas, which means the actions of self-restraint. Yama means restrain, and kriya means action, and swasa means self. So it's actions to restrain ourselves, or to hold ourselves, or to control ourselves. And we're talking about our mind. So there are 8 different breathing practices, super simple, very easy. They either use a chest breath or a belly breath. There's no yogic breath tomorrow. And we're going to do those 8 kriyas before a little meditation. So we'll do a little bit of asana, a little bit less asana, a little bit more pranayama, and we'll do a 10-minute meditation instead of a 5-minute meditation. It's Sunday. We all need to chill. Okay. And, you know, Zoom has this whole new thing about this new protection, because a lot of people got Zoom bombed or screen bombed. I've already set my settings up after I had that happen, where someone's screen got put in the screen one day. So I've already firmed my settings up. But apparently starting tomorrow, which is the 5th, you may need a password. I think if it's going on forever, but just for you to know, you can click direct from a Zoom link, but if you're just entering in the meeting ID, apparently it won't let you in. So I just put a Zoom link last night in the Casa San Juan. In that first post that's pinned to the top, I put a link. So you can always go to the Facebook page of Casa San Juan. If you write Casa San Juan, if you Google Casa San Juan Posada, it'll come up. But also if you it's just www.casasanjuan.com.gt. So be sure you put the GT. That's our web page, and that'll take you, I think, oh no, that takes you to the Zoom, to the videos. I'm sorry, web page. So our Facebook page, and you have to just say Casa San Juan Posada, and then it'll come up. Our Facebook page is where you'll find the direct link, because apparently you'll need a link. I don't know. We'll see how many people end up showing up tomorrow. But if you have any doubt, go to that Facebook page, pull a link, and go in from there, because apparently a link will get you in, but just writing in an ID may not. At least that's what I understood from the email Zoom sent out yesterday. Okay, respecting your time. Thank you so much for coming to class. It was wonderful to see you. Donna, it was nice to see you yesterday. Tina, we missed you yesterday. we had a lovely little discussion, and I think Sean sent the Zoom link for you to be able to look at it about our yoga teacher training, advanced teacher training. Okay, everybody, much love. Have a wonderful Saturday. Do something just for you. And remember all day long, our first responders and the people who are on the front lines.